What's up, everybody? Tyler Redmond, host of Hunter Ridge Outdoors, episode 3 of the Hunter Ridge podcast, and I am very, very excited today because I got a very special guest, actually on Zoom call, and I got the camera recording on my phone so I can pull up the actual view from the phone. But I got the one and only Travis T-Bone Turner. He is with me at the moment, and he is co-host of Bone Collector with Realtree. And some of y'all may know him, like says Bone Collector Realtree, and some of y'all may know him as just a guy who loves archery, and that is true. He loves some archery. But I am here with him today. T-Bone, how you doing, my friend?
Good, Tyler, man. Thank you for having me, man. I know we've been chit-chatting back and forth for a couple of weeks or a month or so, and glad we get together and chit-chat for a little while on your podcast.
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Well, I've actually got a few questions we'd like to ask. I mean, like I said, any interview you like to ask people, how did you get involved in hunting? Who got you involved in it, and how old were you when you started?
Yeah, just like so many people, I got involved from my parents. My dad was a big hunter, and my granddad, and just my peers and stuff like that. So, I was introduced to the outdoors at an early age, 4, 5, 6 years of age. My dad had dragged me around squirrel hunting and stuff like that. And then, naturally, we didn't have a lot of distractions like we do this day and age. So I quickly loved anything to do with that, whether it be fishing, squirrel hunting. Kindly cut my teeth on squirrel hunting and small game hunting, and then didn't take up deer hunting until I was just about out of high school.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. And it's really good when family gets you into the outdoors and stuff. Because man, we need to get these kids out here to experience it.
Yeah, it gets said a lot, but it doesn't get said enough. You take your kids hunting and fishing, and you don't have to hunt your kids.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, man. How did you, like I said, you're a world champion archery shooter, and I don't know if I said that right, but 1991 world champion, archery champion, and how did you get into archery?
Well, it's I first got my first bow when I was about 10 years old. My dad had bought me a bow, for a recurve bow, for having good grades. I was in the 5th or 6th grade, and he bought me a recurve bow. But my dad didn't know much about archery, and he ended up buying me a bow that was too strong for me. It was a 45-pound recurve, and at 10 years old, that was just a little bit too much for me to pull. And he didn't know, so I didn't have really a good experience of an introduction into archery. So, I still could bend the string just a little bit, and I'd watch the arrow fly, but I quickly, give it up just because I couldn't pull it all the way back, and I was hitting my arm a couple of times, and like so many people, they get a bad first experience into archery, so they let it go. But later on, I started deer hunting, and I started fishing a lot, and I was fishing with my buddies from high school, and we just got out of high school, and my buddy said, "Hey, we're fixing to start shooting our bows, getting ready for deer season. You got a bow?" And I said, "No, I don't." And he said, "Well, we're probably not going to be fishing much anymore. You need to get you a bow and bow hunt with us." And I was kind of against bow hunting because I felt like you wounded a bunch of deer, and and it's so hot in the early season, and they talked me into it, saying, "Oh, you can be real proficient with this, and it gives you a good way to scout before gun season comes in." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, you're right. Plus, I want to do whatever my buddies are doing." So they talked me into it. Let's put it that way. So I went to the local sporting goods store, and I spent me $400, which back then, we're talking the late '80s. That was a lot of money, especially for a guy just out of high school and just his first job. I spent 400 and something bucks on my total setup, and while we were there. This was on a Wednesday, actually. My buddies was with me, and they were talking to a guy that was just hanging out in the store. He had the local archery range, a 3D course, and they were talking to him, and I was getting my bow set up, and I was too embarrassed to try pulling the bow in the store. He backed an 80-pound bow all the way down to 65 pounds, and I was like, I wouldn't even pull it in the store because I still had the mindset that I can't pull 45 pounds, even though from the age of 10 to 19, I done grew a lot. You know, I was bench pressing close to 300 pounds playing football in high school and stuff, but in my head I still couldn't pull 45 pounds, so I was embarrassed to try it at the store, so I bought this bow and never even pulled it back in the store. And we took it home, and I finally said, man, I've got to pull this thing back at some point. So I grabbed it, and I said, okay, here we go. And I was worried to death. I was by myself in my room, back at home, and I said, here we go, 1, 2, 3. And I about ripped the wheels off of it. And I said, golly, I'm this is going to be all right. I'm going to be able to do this. So naturally, the next few days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, my buddies helped me get it sighted in, and they asked me, said, you going to go to this tournament? You know, we think we're going to go to this tournament on Sunday. And I said, man, there ain't no way I'm going to no tournament on a Sunday. I just owned a bow like
you just got started.
Oh, come on. Yeah. They said, oh, come on, man, you're shooting good, and we've never been to a tournament. You ought to come with us. And I said, well, I said, all right. So I was nervous, you know, because whenever I think of a tournament, way back when, I used to think, you know, like 100 guys standing on the line in white uniforms, like you used to read in an encyclopedia. You're too young to be reading about encyclopedia stuff, but anyhow, when we got there, it was so totally different. If anybody, you know, that's listening's ever watched a 3D tournament or been to one, it's just a group of your friends, and you walk through the woods, and you shoot the tournament, and you score, you target yourself. And then, you know, before you know it, you finished, and you just compare your scores to each other. Well, we shot, had a great time, didn't lose any arrows. I thought that was a plus right there. We didn't lose any arrows, and we got done and added our score up. We all signed up for the beginning division. It was a novice division, and I was happy because I had the highest score of my group. Now, that was fine enough with me, but we turned our scorecards in, and, you know, out of I think 36, 7, 8 shooters in our class, I happened to be the top dog, so I got first place on my first tournament. I've only owned a bow 5 days, so I never had been good at sports or anything in my whole growing up. You know, I played sport, but I never was like you know, the lead dog or whatever. But I said, man, I might be pretty good at this archery stuff. So from that point on, let's just say I couldn't get enough. I was absolutely just couldn't get enough of it, and I was
hooked.
like hook, line, and singer. Could not get enough of it.
Right, man.
The monster was born.
Yep. I remember, and I saw on the, I watched the video that Hoyt made with your documentary after your cancer and everything about more than just a bow. I watched that, and I remember they had on ESPN, actually, the old ESPN scoreboard and everything.
Yeah, that was back in 90. That was in 91. So, well, with the tournament we went to was just a little old local tournament, but the big one that I ended up going to, that was like 3 or 4 years later, and luckily over those 3 or 4 years I'd won a couple of state championships, and this was with the World Shoot. There was like 37 countries, 37 states, 18 different countries represented, and in my class there was like 530 people, and I got lucky and won the world championship. I couldn't believe it.
That's unreal, man. Wow.
Got me one of those big Happy Gilmore checks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's awesome, man. I actually, relating to Happy Gilmore, I went to go. I'm friends with a good modified race car driver up here. You probably know where Bowman Gray Stadium is, up here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And Jonathan's my good buddy, and we go to church together. And he took me to go play Top Golf with NASCAR drivers Ryan Newman and Hermie Sadler.
Oh yeah, I met Ryan.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you something. That was one of the best highlights ever in my life. And Ryan had to do the Happy Gilmore swing because his regular golf swings would not work. So he had to do Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, Ryan's a big hunter too.
Oh yeah, he's been on the Realtree a lot. I've seen his hunts, and I mean, literally that day we were talking like we'd known each other, like about hunting or anything. I mean, it was just awesome. And but man, like I said, good Lord has just been so good and blessed me so much.
Yeah.
Blessed all of us.
He sure has.
And after archery, I know you got involved with Realtree. How'd you get into how did Realtree get in contact with you?
Well, it kind of, the good Lord puts us in the right place at the right times. Me and a buddy of mine had opened up a store. I grew up about an hour and a half north of where I live now. I live here in Troup County, which is just north of LaGrange. And I moved down here from closer to Atlanta. I used to work in Atlanta, and I moved down here because this was where the better hunting and fishing was, and plus I just needed to get away from the rat race of around the Atlanta suburbs. So I moved down here, and which happened to be within 45 minutes of Realtree headquarters. And at the time I was just working and running my store, and it was real humble beginnings, and still shot a lot of tournaments and stuff, and traveled across the country. And I met a couple of the camera guys that worked for Realtree, and they started coming to my store. And then I met Waddell, and I met David Blanton, and I kind of threw it out there to David Blanton when he was at the store one day. I said, look, you see people getting set up, and back then you'd watch them on the VHS tapes, or you'd see them on ESPN or TNN, and I'd see the baseball players and the country singers and the people they'd have on there, and they'd have too long of a draw length, or their peep sight wouldn't be right. You could just tell they weren't set up right, and I told David, I said, by no means am I an archery god or anything like that, but being as I'm real close to you guys here, I'd be glad to work on y'all's stuff, get y'all dialed in, make sure that your bows and your arrows and everything are all tuned and set up and draw lengths correctly, because you're the leading the number one content provider back then for anything hunting wise, whether it be on TV or magazines or anything like that. I said, if I can help in any way archery wise, I'd love to help. And I didn't know how they was going to take that, but he took it real well, and it just started there. I began doing all their stuff, working on their bows, and I thought, man, I can't believe that I'm getting to set up David Blanton and Waddell's bow and Bill Jordan's bow, and watching these bows go all over the country, because I never dreamed of being able to travel across the country and get to go hunting. I just figured, hey, I'm going to carve me out a living. I get to work on people's bows, and I get to shoot little tournaments here and there, and luckily, hopefully, I'll get to hunt some right around here in Georgia. And I thought, man, that's a great life. And getting to know that I built the arrows, or me and my team built the arrows and worked on the bows that are killing these deer that are appearing on TV all across the country. Man, I thought that was awesome. So, but I guess they liked my personality, and it became a family friendship with everybody there at Realtree, and they asked me to play a sidekick character with Jeff Foxworthy in the the late '90s, and I helped on setting up their archery tournaments behind the scenes, all the targets for them to film the monster bucks. And then each year it just seemed like they asked me to do more and more and more, and I was showed appreciation, and it seemed like the fans was gravitating towards it and really embracing it. So it kind of brought us, me, Waddell, and Nick all started with Realtree, and we're all about the same age and very similar personalities and got along just like brothers. And, Waddell asked us to be a part of Realtree road trips. And then, of course, we started Bone Collector in 2007 and 8. And, man, I sold my store in the meantime. I had someone approach me about buying my store, so I sold my store. And lo and behold, here we are, 25 years later, and bam, I'm still doing the same thing, and I've looked back and carved out a great living and met a lot of great folks. And like you and I were talking about, it's nice to know that so many people, have seen stuff that you've done, and pray for you when you have you stub your toe, so to speak, or have some issues. And it's been an absolute blessing of a journey.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And like I said, I can refer easily to you talking about archery, because like I said, I had a very close friend of mine pass away back in 2020. His name was Greg, and like I said, he watched all you guys on TV, Realtree and everybody, and he was someone that gave me a lot of advice in hunting. He was young when he passed. He's about 55, but a lot of issues and stuff, and it broke my heart. It really did. But
Yeah.
He's right. He said that bow is a primitive weapon, and So, but I can relate easily when you mentioned earlier about wounding a lot of deer with a bow and arrow. I know exactly where you're coming from on that.
Yeah.
That's never fun, but that's part of it, and you got to practice and
Oh,
practice.
yeah, and it's not as bad. I had it in my head back in the early days. Before I even got into it, I just, it's just kind of you assume that that's the way it's going to be. By no means, with all the innovations and the technology that's out there now, it's nowhere near as bad as what I made it out to be. So it goes to show you that perception sometimes is not reality. So as long as you shoot within your means and you get your bow set up correctly, you can be very proficient with a bow. So. Yeah, I was totally wrong, and I'm glad I was. Here I was thinking I was graduated high school nearly 300 pounds and benching nearly 300 pounds, and dummy me, I didn't think that I could even pull 45 pounds. And I'm like, golly, what a knucklehead! I felt like I missed out on a lot of good years of hunting that I could have been enjoying that I wasn't able to because I was just didn't think I could shoot it.
Yeah, I tell you, like I said, and you know what? But it surely feels good when you can finally kill one with a bow. Because I let's see, back in 21, I shot at an 8-pointer. I mean, a nice one, probably 120, like that one I shot this year. I was tore up, man, because I shot him, and it was like I said, in no man's land, and he took off, and luckily he survived. But it sure felt good the next year to kill that one right there with a bow. And I mean, because that deer on the wall, I was after him for actually pretty much like I've been seeing him the whole year behind the house. And like I said, I was watching him and, trying to figure it out and stuff like that. And then finally, after a couple days of being in the stand and seeing him, almost getting that chance, I finally got a chance at him. And I was holding that bow back for literally almost a minute. And finally, that buck was behind a tree, and he was weaving his head back and forth, playing peekaboo with me almost. And finally, he turned, and I went, man, and he looked. And when I shot, my arrow perfectly placed the broadhead right on a daggone limb right in front of him, and that buck was gone. I hit a limb.
It happens, man. But it looks like he might have won that battle, but you won the war.
That's right.
Got him on the wall, huh?
5 days later, I drilled him. Perfect heart shot. You could hear the thump. He didn't even go 70 yards, and he was toasted.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you've done real well there, man. That's for sure.
I appreciate it, buddy. Like I said, but that was a great year last year, but I don't think 2023 was unbelievable. I almost tagged out.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you showed me that buck earlier. That is nice, man.
Yes, sir. Here's the cool thing, though. If you get to looking at his bladed, let's see. He's got bladed, thick brows, actually.
I like that, don't you? That just adds so much character.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think he's an offspring to a certain buck that was there at that same place just 3 years ago. He had bladed brows, and he was a big 10-pointer, but somebody else was able to take him. And you know how he found out? We saw him at the taxidermist.
Is that right?
Yeah. I looked and I said, Dad, no way. I said, no wonder we ain't been sitting 10-pointer. He's right here. But it was unbelievable.
That buck there, did you have pictures of him?
Yeah, actually all this year. He was there all summer from like June to July. And then Shed Its Velvet was there right the week before hunting season. Yeah. And then he stayed there until October, and then he didn't come back until November. And that's when I noticed he'd lost weight, and part of that rack was chipped off. And then I was like, man. So I was like, he's still bigger than anything I killed, and when they get those 2 points added back. So, and then
it just means he's a warrior. He'd been fighting and broke stuff up. That means, yeah, you killed a bull of the woods, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. And here's another thing, too. My dad shot a buck just a week and a half or 2 weeks prior to that. And the buck that my daddy killed, that buck weighed 170 pounds. And I believe that buck, by chance, was the one that come in there and whooped his tail.
Might have been.
Because he he was nice. He was over 100 inches, but a tall 8-pointer. And like I said, you look at him, you knew he was the king.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
sounds like y'all got a great piece of ground there to hunt.
oh yeah. Unfortunately, they're building a road back there, but I don't. It may affect it, but I think it's still huntable. We've been blessed to hunt in my grandpa's old house for 20 years actually.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that deer love pine trees, and that's where we got a lot of pine back there.
Yeah.
And it's been so much.
If they're putting that road in right now, maybe they'll be done for hunting season next year.
Yeah, hopefully so. Absolutely. A lot of bucks been over there though. It's been a great place. Let's see. So yeah, man. But hey, and speaking of bucks, I know 2020 was a bummer year for all of us as far as COVID, but you know where I'm heading, man. You had a heck of a 2020 season in the woods.
Oh, man, that was a
Dream year.
That was a lifetime season. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, really, it was just like everything, all the stars aligned, man. That'll never be duplicated in my life. I know that for sure. So it was incredible. Absolutely, 2020 was awesome.
Man, well, I mean, like I said, I've got almost every single Monster Buck VHS, DVD until all the way to the 30th one, actually.
Yeah.
And on the 29th one is when you shot all three of those bucks, man. I mean, wow. Basically three.
Yeah. And what made it, I mean, you know, yeah, and I appreciate that, but what made it even more special, or I like to always refer to it as the pride factor, almost like, you know, you talking about killing those bucks on your granddad's place, you know, that adds to the pride factor. And then, you know, like, you know, you missed that buck because you hit that limb, and then you got him the next, 5 days later. That adds to the pride factor. You know, all three of these bucks I killed on my farms. You know,
yes.
2 of them were here in Georgia on my land, and then the other one was on a farm that I had bought in Kansas. So, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm proud of any buck that we get to take, whether it's with an outfitter or, you know, a lease land or whatever, but it just adds that much little more pride factor to it to know that you let those deer walk for years and years and you actually killed them on your home turf. I mean, it just, I don't know that it can get any better.
I agree. Yeah, it means so much more. Absolutely. Like I said, oh yeah, it means so much more when you're like right there at your home turf and you kill those bucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely, man. I gotta show you this while we're talking about. You'll like this. Look what I got.
Oh, somebody engraved that in there, didn't they?
Yep. No, actually, it's the Bone Collector Old Faithful Grunt Call.
Oh.
Are you able to?
What brand is that? Is that the Bone Collector brand?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
It looks like you've been using the fire out of that thing.
I have. Well, I have used it some, and I really like it though. And then I got let's see, which one did I get? Oh, I got it for Christmas. I'm really getting the turkey season now, and I got the crow call actually.
Oh, okay.
So I'm hoping to put that thing to work because I was with my buddy Jonathan last year, and I killed my first turkey. It's not on the camera, but I killed, like I said, killed a Jake, and he put on a show.
Is that right?
Oh man, it was 2 of them actually. He was the biggest one. They come in there. Let's see. No, we didn't hear anything for 45 minutes, and then all of a sudden, my buddy Jonathan got my turkey call and called, and all of a sudden, bam! They were right behind us. I was like, oh my gosh! So they had circled around from where they roosted, come behind us, and they got 10 steps from us.
Oh wow!
And then they all walked back into the bottom, and I was trying to debate whether to shoot or not because, like I said, never killed a turkey though. Really wanting a tom, so I was like, they're putting on the show. I've never killed a turkey. I need to kill one of those suckers. So when I made that mind up, he was getting ready to walk into the field behind us again. And he kept calling, kept scratching the ground. He kept gobbling. And oh my gosh, it was a gobbling fest. And he come, and this is what gets people in shock. It was my friend Jonathan's 410, 44-yard shot. Dropped him.
Wow. Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's incredible.
And Jonathan got it all on film, and it's on my YouTube channel. He filmed the moment when he went, found the first blood, and he ranged it, and he said, guess how many yards that is, Tyler? I said, I'm estimating 40. He said, 44 yards. I said, holy crap.
Wow.
I mean,
that's amazing.
That gun was dialed in.
Yeah. And he held it together, too, because it's easy to miss at that distance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I'm ready to go out there and get big old Tom himself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly, that, like we was talking about earlier, where you was snort wheezing at that buck. It sure isn't. It makes you feel good to be able to kind of work a turkey and see how they can come in and you dictate how the day goes, you know what I mean? And that adds to the pride factor too, because you called them in, or you worked a turkey, or you worked a buck and got him. So yeah, I like turkey hunting, not as much as deer hunting, but I like turkey hunting. I think Waddell's a little mad at turkeys than I am, boy. He can't stand them, boy.
Oh yeah, Michael. Yeah, turkey hunting is what got Michael into Realtree, and like I said, I'm like you, man. Deer hunting is what. A deer is the first thing I ever killed, and I really like hunting in general, but deer hunting is my number one favorite. But if I had the chance to go elk hunt, moose hunt, if that ever were to happen, that would be awesome too.
What's your favorite things about? Let me ask you a question. What's your favorite things about? Why do you like? I mean, I know how I feel about it, but why do you like deer hunting? What are the things about deer hunting that you like so much, and why do you think you like deer hunting? I mean, we all like, as outdoorsmen, we like all kinds of hunting, but why do you like deer hunting so much?
Well, I'll go ahead and start it like this. I'll say my dad's a hunter. He got me into hunting, and then friends and other family. My uncle was a hunter. Like I said, my buddy Greg that passed, he was a hunter. So, and then my dad had all these Realtree Monster Bucks videos, and I remember the first one I watched was Monster Bucks 14 Volume 1. And make a long story short, killed my first deer with my buddy Greg's crossbow at 10 years old. I mean, of course, if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be hunting without a doubt. But I personally think, and like I said, the more you go out there, the more you learn and stuff. But of course, we all know that we all do it for the meat. And we all love to go out there, enjoy God's creation when we can, take that opportunity, whether morning or evening. And I just love it all. I love to watch them just step on out, give me that clear shot. There's just so much about it. I like to look at the habitat. And just within the past few years, I've been learning more and getting more into hunting, studying the habitat or working the wind and just all that stuff. And then after watching you guys, learning from y'all and Realtree, just hunting everything, I was ready to go after not just a deer, but a nice mature buck. And I was like, because we spotted, when I made that decision, when we had a nice 8-pointer, super tall rack on camera, and I actually I was after him for 3 years, believe it or not. But unfortunately, I think he died of a tumor in his leg. We watched it for him, and it just messed up his rack, and he just vanished from the summer group a month before deer season came. But like I said, I love it all, and I love to film it as well. I love everything about deer hunting, pretty much.
To add to what you said, all of those things mean so much. But to me, one of the things that stands out to me about deer hunting is the management of it. I love. It's not just the season. Don't get me wrong. Not that just going hunting during the season is very rewarding, but to add to that, I love the whole. There's something that you can be doing for the deer every month, meaning we adopt this saying that you're training the deer to die, whether it's you're feeding them protein, whether you're shed hunting, whether you're getting your food plots ready in the spring, and then cameras are going whenever they're gaining their antlers again. All of those things are adding to the pride factor and telling the story, and And year after year, it's like, oh, we name this deer. You name it just so that you can keep up with it, but it's like, okay, this deer we feel pretty certain is 3.5 or 4.5, and not that if it's legal, I'm all for anybody. If it makes them happy or they want to shoot it, by all means, I'm all for that. But if you are managing, it's like, well, we see this many does, or you kind of got a relationship with this deer, and you found his sheds, and you're hunting this piece of property, and you're figuring out how they move. But the biggest thing is they're so diverse that you can go just about any state in the country and hunt whitetail deer, and the way you hunt them in Montana is not how you do it in North Carolina, and the way you do it in Iowa is not the way you do it in Texas. So everybody can relate to it, but yet your tactics are different from state to state, and every deer rack is different, meaning it's just like a thumbprint or a fingerprint, like they're so unique. Like when we turkey hunt, you kill a 2.5-year-old turkey, and man, they all look like twins. They all look identical. There's nothing unique about them, but every deer you got on your wall behind you, every deer I've got on my wall, they're all different. They got bladed brow tines or different length. The G3s will be longer than the G2s, or the shapes of the main beam. So they're so unique. So every one that comes out, or the potential, depending on where you're hunting, you could be seeing the next state record walk out. I mean, there's just so much uniqueness to it. And if you talk to a guy in Iowa, even though you're from North Carolina and he's from Iowa, you still can have a conversation about deer hunting, and it's still similar, but yet it's still very different.
Yeah.
Whereas a guy in Montana, he can't relate to the guy in Louisiana that hunts alligators for a living.
Right.
There ain't no alligators in Montana.
Right.
But whitetails are so diverse, so everybody can relate to it, and it's probably the number one animal that's chased across, the number one big game animal that's across America. So that's why I like it, is all year long, and so much, it's so diverse, and everybody can relate to what a trophy is. I don't know if you're like me, like I followed hunting and I love hunting all over the place, but a lot of times people will show hunts from Africa, and I'll look at stuff they kill in Africa, and it's cool. I appreciate what they killed, but I don't know what a trophy is over there. I don't know. I have no idea. Is this a good one? If he's got antlers like that, or it needs to be this big?
Right.
It's hard to relate to.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I mean, I love deer hunting and whitetail deer naturally, and like you said, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm not, like I said, of course, hunting the season is all of our favorite thing, but I also love, and that's what I've been doing the last few years. I've been studying certain bucks, watching them grow, watching what their patterns are, and not just deer season, but after deer season, going shed hunting. I like doing that. Like I said, putting those minnows out, watching those antlers grow, studying those certain bucks, and like being able to tell or guess or estimate if this buck right here is an offspring to another buck because of this characteristic, that bladed brow, and that sticks out to you. But I love every bit of it.
Yeah, and you'll be able to follow that, like even, maybe that deer right there, before you killed him, maybe he bred several does, and then maybe 3 years from now, you'll see that same characteristic. It's like, Hey man, that buck that I killed back in 23, here's his offspring right here, because he's got bladed brows too. That's something that he spread on. So.
Oh yeah, I will have to send you a picture of that 10-pointer, and I mean, he's wide just like this deer, and he's got bladed brows just like it. And I mean, if that doesn't stick out to anybody, I don't know what to say, because that is right there definitely a genetic thing. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And
it ties everything together.
Absolutely. And actually, this past hunting season, I had a young, tall rack 9-pointer hanging back there. I mean, not as big as the one I call Big Boy that I hunted back here for 3 years. But I got to thinking, I guarantee you that he's an offspring of that big one too, because his rack was tall and not wide.
Yeah, I got a lot of that around here where I'm at. There's a lot of, they're tight, they're real, not real wide, but real tall.
Yeah.
The the one that I killed with my muzzle loader that we was talking about in 2020, he only had a 13.5-inch inside spread, but with all the points and stuff, he ended up grossing 186 inches. So he was very big, but he was. I mean, we called him. My son nicknamed him Hands of God because it looked like praying hands.
I love it.
It was real close together
Yeah.
like that, and it looked like he was about to pray. So we called him HOG, and everybody just thought, oh, yeah, it is a hog. I'm like, no, it don't stand for hog. It's Hands of God. He's like, just right here.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow. I like that, Archer. That's good. Well, yeah, because I was thinking that too, because when they got on Bone Collector, when y'all recovered the deer, he said he named him HOG 2.0, actually.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, because we had another deer that was HOG that our neighbor ended up getting years ago, and then this one is very, very similar to that because the rack was just like that. And he goes, man, that looks just like Hands of God. He goes, but it can't be him, so we'll call him 2.0. So it's HOG 2.0, new and improved.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? I was just thinking about. Oh yeah, and another pride factor is when, like, now since we live in the southeastern part of the United States, you live in Georgia, I live in North Carolina. We definitely have a similarity of not in a land of giant state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they are giant. There are giant bucks where we're at. We just got to find them. But I think that means so much too, because in North Carolina and Georgia, it's common to not get a deer that's over 160, 170. I guess. I mean, they're here, but there's just not many of them like it is in Kansas, Iowa.
Well, you got to look at it this way. Like we was talking about how diverse things are. It's a trophy is relative to where you hunt. Meaning, like, your buck was a mature buck, and it was a great buck. You can't kill a 180 where there's not a 180. A guy in Florida, there are a lot of deer in Florida, and that's why if you're shooting a mature buck, that's a trophy. Meaning,
yep.
Like, you can't kill a 180-inch buck where there ain't one.
Right.
Just because Lee Lakoski's one of the best hunters in the country, and as well as Don Kiske. But even as good as they are, and as many 180s that they have killed, they're not going to be able to kill a 180 in Florida where there ain't a 180. So, it's a trophy is relative to where you hunt. So you have to go off of age, and you have to go off of wariness and things like that. It's a given. We all want to kill a 180, and occasionally you find them around here. There are some really good bucks in Georgia and North Carolina. They're not as frequent as they are out west.
Right.
That doesn't mean you still can't chase, mature deer or and I don't want to ever be tagged as the guy that only chases or thinks that everybody should always go after a mature deer. If that's what you want to do, by all means, but to the guy that's only getting to go 5 or 6 days the whole season because they're working so much and trying to provide for their family, who am I to tell them that they can't go, shoot 2 does and a 6-pointer when, they only get 6 days to hunt? If it's legal and you're trying to fill the freezer and, and you're excited about it and that means a lot to you, absolutely. I'm going to sit there and celebrate with you. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
That's
the way
right.
we got to do each other.
This right here is a trophy in my book. Biggest buck of my life. And if it was really scored, I think it would hit Pope and Young if it's 120, but I don't care about that. This is a trophy, man, in my book right here.
No, absolutely it is. That's a great buck. Absolutely it's a great buck.
Yes, sir. And especially your first of anything. First turkey, first deer, that's definitely a trophy. And
Yes.
And it's actually a trophy when the good Lord blesses you with any deer. That's the way I look at it. And like I said, because with my dad, he works nights. So he drives a truck for a living up to XPO Logistics. And he only hunted not even 7 days last year. And believe it or not, he tagged out on bucks 2 nice 8-pointers. And he shot, this is going to blow your mind, but he bought a new 270. He killed 2 does, 1 shot.
Really?
I.
Did he do that because ammo's so expensive?
No, hey, that's what people say. They say that's one way to save ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah, because literally people said that on the YouTube. I only had that thing posted for, less than a week. It already hit over 2,000 views.
Wow.
And my dad's not into filming the hunts like I am, and that's totally fine. But he said those 2 deer were lined up perfectly, right? Perfect, right in front and behind each other. He said I took the shot. He said they both looked like they were hit. He texted me, and I was like, this was at my grandpa's old house too. I was here at home. He texted me and says, I just shot. Come quickly. So I come, and he looked at me and said, Tyler, I think I did something stupid. He said, I tried to shoot 2 deer with 1 shot. And I'm like, well, I hope we find them. And believe it or not, we found hair of 2 different deer from like one spot, and then here's the other hair. And then my dad just started looking. He went across the gas line, and lo and behold, they're both dead 18 yards apart from each other.
Yeah.
He was on the phone with my friend Steve, I think. Well, he's on the phone with somebody. He's like, found one. Found the other one.
That's great.
It was unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you, it was the best year for not only me and my dad, but for my cousins and just friends naturally. And like I said, that's another thing of hunting. I love to celebrate with family and friends. That means so much because my one thing we celebrated this year was that for the first time ever, me, my dad, and my 2 twin cousins, we each killed a buck. Nice bucks this year. Same year, my cousin Weston finally killed his first ever buck. Nice 7-pointer. And then my buddy, his brother Mason killed a nice 8-pointer. And then my buddy Jonathan, holy crap, took definitely a 140-inch class 8-pointer. It's huge.
Man.
It was unreal. He got it all on film too. So he's going to he got so many video clips. He filmed it too. He's gonna make a video, send it to me to put on my YouTube channel. But he literally 1.5 acres of land is what he was hunting. Deer everywhere in that area. He said he got somebody rut action, grunting and stuff, and he told me, he said, Tyler, he said, you ever hear a deer fart? He said one deer was just standing there. She leaned her back, lifted that tail, and let it fly.
I've heard it. I sure have.
Oh man, I don't know if he got that on film, but I really hope he did.
Yeah, that was funny.
But
I've heard it. They do it.
Hey, every animal, every single person, animal, God's creature farts, right?
They do.
Oh man! But speaking of that, it cracks me up every time I watch the first time Realtree filmed the T-bone part hunting.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I couldn't wait to talk about that. I was like, because you had a ribeye behind the camera, and then you're in the tree stand, and obviously they put a sound effect on it, but you let one out, and you said, "You smell that?" And the camera goes like this.
Yep.
Oh, that was so.
That's right.
That was so fun. That was your first hunt on Realtree Farms, wasn't it?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was actually. And a statistic, something that you may not know about, or a lot of people may not know about, but out of 30 years of monster bucks history, I'm the only person to ever kill a doe on monster bucks.
Really?
Think about that.
Wow, it was so.
Everything else has always been a buck.
Wow, the funny part is when David's narrating in the background. He's like, "Now T-Bone, we're filming for monster bucks, and you're gonna be shooting a doe."
Yeah.
And then a lot of people were wondering, like, because I know you missed that first shot, and then you had to continue on to volume 2, and then is when you shot it. And oh my gosh, this was so funny. And I know this was a skit too. Like I'm sure y'all recover the deer, and then because I remember you said we got a lot of good sign. We're in it. We know we got some good blood and stuff. And then you had the signs that said follow this way.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
Yeah, and then T-Bone goes into the truck and like, oh, there she is.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you something else. That truck, that was I'd only owned that truck for about 4 years. For 2 years. When we filmed that, it was almost a brand new truck. And I sold that truck to my best friend, and it's sitting in my driveway right now. My best friend's parked out here, and that truck is sitting out here. He drives it every day.
Oh, Brian Schmick?
Yep, Brian Schmick. He drives that green Dodge truck.
That's unreal, man.
I'll send you a picture of it. Yeah, we need to do a little throwback Thursday on that, don't we?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what?
We fixed the dent.
Oh yeah.
When I ran into it, we dented it.
Oh no.
I was so upset. I was like, man, I got my brand new truck here, and I had just dented the side of my truck running into it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The main thing is y'all found the dough, though.
Yeah, the things we do for Hollywood, huh?
Yeah, right, Hollywood, exactly. Oh me. I was gonna ask you this. I saw Realtree come out with that new APX camo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I know, and I'm so glad that Realtree started doing this, bringing back some old camo from the past back for people to buy. Because not long after they had it out, I bought the bamboo hooded shirt, the Advantage Classic pattern.
Yeah.
And this is just curiosity. Out of all the camos, the original one's probably my favorite. I love that one.
Yeah, it's good.
But out of all the camo patterns that's been released from the very first one to now, I was like to ask you, which one is your personal favorite out of all of them?
I like them. There's several. I like the classic, like you're talking about, the original. You know, that was one because it's not so nostalgic. But my favorite has been for the last 5 or 6 years has been Timber. I always liked the Timber.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like this Apex is you took Edge and you took Timber, and it's like they had a love child.
Yeah.
Their baby.
I thought the same thing. I was like, that APX looks like a mix between Edge, Timber, Escape. I mean, I saw that and I was like, that's like a mix of all of them, I think.
And then this right here, for some reason on hats, like this is Edge.
Yeah.
I like Edge better on hats than I do any color. But then, like on suits and clothing, I like the Timber better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not that Edge is bad or one or the other. It's just for, you know how us rednecks are. We like wearing camouflage for everyday hats, even when we're not hunting. But I just like that little bit of green in there, on an Edge hat. I like that for a hat.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for hunting, but I just think it looks good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I was watching, like I said, my buddy Scooter, who makes turkey calls. In fact, we were using his turkey call that he made when I shot my turkey. But he posted this on Facebook. He had a lot of all Realtree VHSs and so many other hunting VHSs, and I'm like, I want them. He said free for anybody. I was the first one to comment. I was there the next day, and I was home with a tote full of them.
Yeah. And
a lot of people, there are some hunts that have been forgotten, I personally think. But then there's your, and this is the first time I ever watched the Classic Hunts video series.
Yeah.
I wish, and I know Realtree's released the 365 digital download. I wish Realtree would bring Classic Hunts back onto 365 and like put anybody killing about anything on there, because I think that would be a good idea for them to do.
I think you're exactly right. It's kind of crazy, as long as we've been doing this, we keep trying to push forward. But being as I've been more time at home these last 2 years, with losing my leg and cancer and stuff, I have spent a little bit of time like looking back on my outdoor TV and seeing some of our first hunts on Bone Collector, like 2008, 2009. And, man, it's just like reliving those hunts and stuff. And I'm like, I told Waddell what we ought to do, and I thought, you tell me if you think this is a good idea. I thought, like, for our YouTube channel, like, once every 2 weeks, is take an old hunt and then, like almost a director's cut, like, have me watch one of Waddell's hunts or me watch one of my old hunts and then, like, tell people the inside stuff and, like, say, hey, you see that hat that I got in on that hunt right there? That's, like, the second version of that hat. You know, just tell you little tidbits.
Oh, yeah.
About hunts.
I like that.
You didn't know the first time. I think that would be good.
Yeah, that would be good. Absolutely. Actually, I know Michael was at the Dixie Deer Classic last year in Raleigh. He did an intro for my YouTube channel.
Oh, did he?
Oh, you'll love it. And he was like, if you ain't watching my main Tyler Hunter Ridge Outdoors, you ain't watching nothing good.
That's right.
I love it, man. And you know what? Also, hang on, I lost it. Don't you just hate when you?
Oh, it happens to me all the time. Back today, he's been out there the last 3 days with Cameron Haynes doing his podcast.
Oh yeah, I knew I was gonna say now. Lost it again.
Talking about the Dixie Deer Classic, or him doing your intro.
Yeah, but now and he's going back to where. I got it now. I won't lose it. Ryan Awakening, the guy that does y'all's camera and stuff. I told him about my YouTube channel up front right there, and he subscribed to it. And when I got home, I come to find out it didn't say Ryan Awakening has subscribed to my channel. It says Bone Collector has subscribed to your channel.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, because
Yep. Well, he does all our social media. Ryan does.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's awesome, man. Because that blew me away. And I made a video. I was saying, if Bone Collectors can subscribe to Hunter Ridge Outdoors, you can subscribe to Hunter Ridge Outdoors.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Like I said, man, trust me. I'm actually going to be in a squirrel tournament here this Saturday with Jonathan. I'm excited about it.
Oh yeah. That's getting to be. We got the Squirrel Master Classic coming up in just 2 weeks actually, and I haven't been the last couple of years, but I'm gonna go down there. I think they got me MCing and doing some stuff, so I'll be down there for that. And I got to get my new Camo ready actually, so I'm gonna work on that this afternoon. Really.
There you go.
Actually, the guys from Camo have been texting me. You know, while we've been on our podcast here, they've been texting me about information about it. So we gotta make a good showing this year.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Well, I know I love watching the Camo Squirrel Master Class. I love to watch those every time Bone Collector and them upload it. But ours is basically, so we are meeting. Let's see, we're not meeting first. We're going to be obviously as soon as daylight breaks, we're going to be, or legal shooting light, we're going to be already going hunting for squirrels at some of Jonathan's places he gets to hunt and stuff. It's going to be me, my friend Owen, and then Jonathan, his son, each 2 different teams. And already over 40 teams, so that's over 80 people have already entered for this thing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So, but the winner is, the way they do it is the most squirrels, the weights combined. It's 8 squirrels, heaviest weights combined is the winner. And half of that money goes to the fire department, and the other half of the money goes to the winning team.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a great cause and a great time fellowship.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, that guy that's running it, Aaron, he's the one that'll be interviewing me next Tuesday. I'll have to send you a clip of that. We'll probably be on live Facebook actually on it's called Backwoods Bandits NC. It's very nice thing he's got going.
Yeah.
So it is very nice. But yeah, man, like I said, boy, I'll tell you what though, it was hard to watch that video that you and Michael did the podcast when you about broke. Oh my God, I couldn't watch that. When you broke down the cancer thing, oh my gosh. That
was tough.
That had a lot of people choked up though, but you know what? And I was telling Joe Drake this. I said, the hunting industry, it hurt them more, and they were worried about it more than T-Bone personally, because I mean, like you said, with your positive spirit, and I know there's times where, you know, we stay positive and stuff, and I'm sure there's times where and I know you've mentioned it before, there's times when we feel like pity party ourselves sometimes, but with a positive spirit, it hurt the hunting industry more, I think, when they heard of your deal going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, don't get me wrong, we all wish to do, we wouldn't have to go through these things, but I've always, knew where I stood with my faith, and I've already outlived all my dreams. I never thought I'd get this far, getting to have this blessed life, and, it's real easy to, the days that you're feeling bad, you can sit there and say, no matter how bad I've got it, it could be worse.
Yep.
And or no matter how bad I got it, somebody else does have it worse. So, no, just keep a good attitude. Plus, nobody wants to be around someone that's, all negative and woe is me. And
yeah, exactly.
Just got to make the best of what we got, man. I mean, it could be worse. I could, could have lost both legs. I could have lost my life or anything like that. So, ever since then, like we talked about, or before we started recording, today is actually the 2-year anniversary of losing my leg. We amputated my leg 2 years ago today, and every checkup, I go every 4 months for checkups, and they don't ever like to say cancer-free, but thank goodness, everything's come back clear ever since then. So far, so good. We're doing good. We're still hopping around in a circle like a one-legged duck, but but we're cancer-free. So
praise the Lord, man. Praise the Lord. That, like I said, man. Well, when I got the news about it, like I said, I'll be on Facebook a lot, and I didn't hear or see anything about it. But my dad was driving on the road, and he calls every night, says love you, how you doing, stuff like that. Just basically every night call in. But he told me, he said, I can't remember first. He said, "You hear about T-Bone?" I was like, "No." He said, "He's got cancer," and I said, "What?" So, and then he said, "Yeah." And then, long story short, after talking about it, I looked on the video and I saw you said not to be confused with Uncle Fester here.
That's right.
I was like, oh man, and I listened to the whole story and I was like, oh my gosh, and I know without a doubt you could, whether it was from your fans like me or from the hunting industry, I know without a doubt you could feel those prayers and they were surely answered.
Oh, yeah, man, so much love. Actually, David Blanton texted me yesterday. He's up there at the Pennsylvania show, and he says, man, there's been so many people asking about you and stuff. So, and folks still, they reach out all the time, checking in or I know it. It's great. It's absolutely wonderful.
Praise the Lord, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, man, I think we had a really good talk, to be honest, man. And like I said, the worst thing I could do is bug somebody or get in somebody's schedule. But I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
It's my pleasure, man. Two rednecks get together talking about hunting and fishing and slinging arrows and stuff. We could talk the horns off a billy goat, couldn't we?
Right? Yeah, man. I know. But you know what? And I actually watched your video with the Seek One boys. I'm gonna tell you something. I love to watch them. Oh my gosh.
Yep, they're doing some incredible things.
I was so excited to hear when they partnered up with Realtree, because I was like, they're gonna be on Monster Bugs, boys, easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hope they are able to get that one with that one that Leah just killed. That the one they call Kimbo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is a giant.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he has a knack for finding them, that's for sure.
I'm sure that'll be on the Monster Bucks 32, but I tell you what, and like I said, I know, and you know what, and talking about outliving your dreams, and then like I said, and as long as the good Lord gives us breath, we can still shoot for dreams that we have no idea that God has placed for us. But
Right.
I was telling my friend Steve, I said, you know, with me getting into filming my own hunts, and I'm sure the Monster Bucks, they like certain video equipment in order to make the show. I told him, I said, and like I said, I'm not gonna give up. I said, maybe if it's the Lord's will, maybe I'll have a chance to make the show if the good Lord wants me to. If I can have the right video equipment, the right. I'm wearing Realtree Camo 24/7 pretty much in the hunt stand, so.
Yeah.
And
just keep it up. Hey, you keep it up. You keep up the good work, no matter what. You know, like a lot of people look at us and they just assume that, you know, we appeared on the scene or we started Bone Collector in 2008. You know, like you and I talked about before, me, Michael, and Nick, we all come from humble beginnings. Me, Michael, and Nick both, we didn't have two nickels to rub together, man. Honestly, I was, you know, buying camo at thrift stores, and, you know, I scraped together $400 to buy my first bow, and, you know, I quit my job working for Mercedes-Benz so that I could do, you know, I took about a $10,000 a year pay cut so that I could go work in an archery shop to chase my dreams. So, you know, by all means, a lot of people don't realize or remember all that. So don't look at it as a destination. Everybody should look at it, and I think you got the right attitude, as a journey, you know, to where enjoy the ride. Like, you know, 30 years from now, we're going to look back on mine and your conversation here. And
yes.
You may have your own, you know, YouTube channel with 3 million subscribers, and you're like, man, I can remember when I interviewed T-Bone, man, that was 30 years ago. Can you believe that? And then you're sitting there interviewing on your YouTube channel. You got Donald Trump Jr. on there. You're
yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you're talking to Ted Nugent's son or something like that 30 years from now. We don't know where the good Lord's going to take us, but you don't need to get down in the dumps about what today is. You need to enjoy what today is and enjoy the journey.
Yep.
You know, enjoy all these times, and they're going to add up, because just like me and you're talking about the reflection of my career, that could be you in 30 years.
Yep. Hey, like I said, I'm not giving up yet, because I mean, and plus, and you want people to, and like I said, and I think something good too is that, like I said, I've always been a fan of Realtree, always have, and I love Realtree. I love the history, everything about it, the Monster Bucks, everything, the camo. I go on and on and on, and I think I want people to see too, or like, you hope somebody from Realtree catches your eye, like catches you on YouTube. You wearing the Realtree camouflage, you getting these hunts on video, and you're doing all this stuff. Like I said, if you keep it up, you never know where it could go. I mean, like I said, I think you just have to have better video equipment, because what I got right now, yeah, I got a GoPro, and I do have a camcorder that records amazingly. But I think, like for Realtree, they pretty much use those, I guess, high dollar expensive cameras. Those are expensive cameras.
Well, yeah, and that might be so for the TV show, but there's so many other platforms between digital and between their website and YouTube, and there's a lot, you know, on social media. There's a lot of ways to celebrate, you know, people's hunts and stuff like that. So, you know, you know, whether it's you or anybody out there, don't just get discouraged because you don't have a $30,000 camera to film with. If you're recording it, whether it's been on an iPhone, a GoPro, or you know, just a local, a small HD or 4K camera that you bought at Best Buy or online, use it. You're going to get better. You know,
yep.
You're documenting footage, and you never know what you're going to get. You know, after we get off here, I can't wait for you to send me that footage of your dad, you know, shooting those two does with one shot. That's pretty remarkable. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, I'm still a redneck. I want to see that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir. But hey, that's a good thing. I love, and like you said, people like I have looked up to you, and I know you look at yourself as just, well, I'm just Travis. Like I said, we all grew up from humble beginnings, and I still am. I'm only 21 years old still, and I got a ways to go. But like you said, look where you're at now. And like you said, you would have never thought in a million years that you'd be with Realtree and Michael and Nick, but
oh yeah,
here we are.
I know, here we are. You never know. So if you don't try, you know, like when I was young, I had a good job, and before I got a family and a mortgage, and lived on my own and had kids and stuff like that, and a lot of responsibilities where I was forced to make a certain amount of living to take care of my family, I said, while I can, I'm going to take a chance, because, I'm not letting anybody down but myself. So while I was young, like your age right now, 20, 21, 22, I quit my job and went to work in an archery shop and, pursued my dreams. And you just don't burn bridges, and you just, enjoy the journey. And as doors or opportunities open up, you take advantage of them. And lo and behold, you look back and 10 or 15 years, it's like, wow, look how far we've come.
Yep, praise the Lord, man. I tell you what, let me get something right fast. You'll love this. I got to get something that you may remember this, you may not, but I remember the last time we actually saw each other is when y'all were at the Dixie Deer Classic in 2020, actually, right before COVID hit.
Yeah.
But I gave this picture to y'all. But this picture was actually back in 2009.
Looky there. That makes me feel so old. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and then here's the one with me and Michael this past year.
Heck yeah. Was that at Dixie Deer Classic?
Yes, sure was. Yeah, this is a book I have of just nothing but hunting memories, man. It is. I even got trail camera pictures in here.
You guys, have you ever been to the NWTF convention?
I was only, the only thing I've been to related to NWTF was I don't even know it was a convention, but it was like 30 minutes from where I live now. A guy from our church invited us to it. They had an auction and
It was a banquet. That was an NWTF banquet.
Yes, yeah, I have been to that. It was nice, and we had dinner there, and we call it supper. A lot of my friends call it dinner, but it's with food.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, this is that is little me right there.
Is that your first deer?
No, that's actually one of my dad's deer. I'm standing right in front of it, actually.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
I can find my first deer, though.
Yeah, you guys should put that on the list to go to. That NWTF convention is way bigger and, way more folks than what... I mean, it's more than just turkey. It's deer and everything having to do with the outdoors. It's over in Nashville, and it's bigger than the Dixie Deer Classic.
Oh, yeah, that would be good to go. Absolutely. All right, let's see. I know it's in here somewhere. Oh, yeah, here's that 9-pointer I killed. This is him on camera right before he shed his velvet, actually.
Wow.
Right there in the thicket.
That's a great deer.
And then I'm pointing up to my buddy Greg that passed away. I know he was pumped.
That's perfect, man. Look at that.
And then look at the mask on him.
I know it, man. That's good pictures. You took good pictures, or y'all took good pictures.
Thank you. Actually, my buddy Steve took the ones of me holding him. He'll get a flashlight and hold it to the side, and he'll get the phone and take a picture of it. But he did great. Let's see. Yeah, it tore me up when my buddy Greg passed. I miss him like crazy. He was like a second daddy to me, and he was definitely someone that meant a lot in my, not just hunting, but in my life. He was,
right.
Oh yeah, he loved me like I was his own son.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, he watched you guys all the time, and he watched Realtree.
How did he pass?
Well,
Cancer?
No, thankfully it wasn't COVID, because that was the year of COVID. But the year before, well, let's see, no, 17 or 14 years old, he was type 2 diabetic. And that's basically what. But he had 2 heart attacks.
Yeah.
And then 2019, he had just got back home from the hospital, started having breathing issues and stuff, so they took him back to the hospital the same day they got home. and they put him on the vent, and that was hard.
Yeah.
And then, believe it or not, he come out of that thing. My dad called and said, Greg is up. He said he wanted me to call and tell you he's okay. And he called me. And I was like, wow. But the next year, that same thing happened, but coded twice. And that was about it. So.
Oh, man.
And my pawpaw actually passed away, too, this past year. He wasn't into hunting, but like I said, it's my first grandparent loss, and that was darn tough.
Yeah.
But pawpaws are the best, without a doubt. Let's see. I know I've got that in here. Oh, I've got a video of this on YouTube. My mom filmed this. This is the first deer that I tracked. This is me and my dad.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, that's when I was really getting into it. Here's actually the actual deer itself, my first deer.
Yeah.
I shot it with my buddy Greg's crossbow, and when I shot, she turned and ran into the leg of the feeder, and she knocked down, and she got back up and ran. If that was on video, man, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But just so much humble beginnings in this for sure, but like I said, man, we've all grown up in humble beginnings, and I'm glad we can just look back on these memories. That's when I was ready to go.
You are ready to go, son. That's like a redneck ninja, ain't it?
Right, exactly. Absolutely. Oh, you'll love this. My dad shot this behind my grandpa's old house right here.
Oh, yeah.
Piebald.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty much like about 90%.
Yeah. Actually, and he gave the rug for me for Christmas. Is right here, actually.
Oh, okay. So you got the whole thing.
The hide, yeah, just it's like a rug. Yep. It was awesome. Oh gosh. Now you talk about a stud. I was really hoping to get this joker behind my house, but I think he vanished after this. Talk about a giant.
That is a giant.
Dude, look at the double white throat patch on him.
What happened to him?
I don't know. He was just gone after that moment. That was 11 o'clock in the morning in the rut. So I was like, man, well, actually, I think we've been seeing him on camera for 2 years. Only seen him twice in 2019, and he come back, and I mean, he just blew up. That was a giant.
Yeah, it was. Probably got hit by a car.
Yeah, hey, my former coworker sent me a meme saying it's easier to kill him with a vehicle at 2 a.m. than it is with a weapon in the woods.
Yeah, it's like we need to put a broadhead on the front of our bumper, don't we?
I know it. But,
where do you work at?
I actually work at, well, I'm employed, but I'm not. I've only worked one time after Christmas, but I work at Farmer's Feed and Seed. It's a local feed store, and like I said, I'm into chickens too. I love chickens. I have over 40 of them. So they love me over there for that reason. But like I said, it's just a feed store. We got fertilizer stuff, garden stuff, but I'm not full-time yet, but I'm really hoping that we get busy enough within the next couple weeks that I'll be full-time.
Gotcha.
So hopefully that works out, and then hopefully get that money and maybe go on some hunting trips, baby.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and like I said, like speaking of never giving up, and I mean, like I said, keep on with those dreams, but I hope it can work one day. If not, that's okay, but it would be a dream, and like I said, me and my dad have talked, but it would be a dream come true for me to be able to come down there, y'all's place, maybe hunt with you, Nick or Michael. That would be a dream right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can tell that y'all be a fun time around camp.
Absolutely, man. I hope that can happen.
Type of people.
Oh yeah, I don't care where we would hunt. If in Georgia, Kansas, it doesn't matter. It'd be awesome to just be with you guys. But hopefully that can work out one day, Lord willing.
Yep. You're well on your way, buddy. You're well on your way.
I appreciate it, man. But like I said, man, we'll get there one day. I actually talked to Jeremy saying it'd be nice if we can come up there. I can come up to your place and hunt. He said, yeah, we'll do it, but it'll be a while because I ain't got a job right now, so that would. Plus, like I say, you got to have the money to be able to do stuff like that, flying a plane. But I'm sure we'll get.
They live a long way.
Oh yeah.
A long ways away. He's in Grand Isle, Nebraska.
Woo.
He's a good day. You know, I gave him the nickname of Big Gulp.
Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere we've hunted together several times, and we've been with Big and Jay forever, and everywhere we go, he always got the biggest cup. Like when you go to the 7-Eleven or racetrack or anything like that, he always gets that biggest styrofoam cup, and we always always call him Big Gulp because he's toting that big old cup, man.
That's awesome. Oh, I know y'all used to be partners with Night and Hail until y'all started the new game calls.
Yep.
Pack Rack, baby.
You know, Night and Hail, they actually dissolved that brand. That's why we had to leave, is because they just did away with it.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. They sold out, I think. No, they didn't sell out. Their business just...
Well, no, I mean, it was still a great brand. It's just they dissolved the business. They just said, hey, we're not doing it anymore, and they just killed it. We couldn't believe it.
Oh, man, I know that had to hurt, for sure.
Yeah, because that was Bradco's the one that owned it, and man, I hated to see the legacy of David Hale and Harold Knight. I hated to see their legacy kind of go by the wayside.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yep.
But, hey, there's a lot of stuff we could talk about for sure, but I think...
We'll have to do another podcast in a few months.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We, like I said, I guess... Go ahead.
Get you Nick Munt on here. I'll give you stuff to Nick Munt and see if we can't get you a podcast with Nick, and then I'll talk to David Blanton as well.
Oh yeah.
And Waddell too.
Dude, that would be that would be amazing. Cause I told the folks when I showed everybody the intro me and Michael did, I said, you know what? I said there are big things coming. Because that is when, well, like I said, that's when me and my buddy knew we were going to go turkey hunting. So I was like, we got big things coming, folks. I can promise you. From a year, that was a year ago. From there to now, I never thought I'd be doing this with you. And like I said, I got we're almost hitting the 700 subscriber mark on my channel. And like I said, I was just making the decision because I was, posting my deer hunts on my other YouTube channel that's related to NASCAR, because I'm a big NASCAR fan. And so I was like, you know what?
From North Carolina.
That's right. Come on.
Yeah, it's in your DNA. You gotta be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was a Tony Stewart fan.
Yeah.
And then I'm now Chase Briscoe guy, and but being a NASCAR fan, so I was like, man, I just need to start a hunting YouTube channel. And like I said, didn't know it had come this far. But I was like, because I had 2021, I was getting a lot of action on film. So I was like, I just need to make a hunting YouTube channel now. So I decided to post videos of that. And I often post videos when it's springtime about, now not only turkey hunt, but about poultry videos, giving advice about that stuff. And off-season activities, I'm starting to do that, like going to the races, hanging out with friends and stuff. And this, my motto is this: it's more than just the outdoors, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
But like I said, from a year from now, I never thought I'd be going this far, and I was hoping I would have a dream year. Didn't know it would happen, but boing.
You never know,
dude. Well, you know what? Yes, this is going as a shoulder mount, but I just got him like this for now until. Yeah. He can get it ready. Actually, this week I'm going to go pick up my dad, both of my dad's bucks and my first buck of the year, European mounts.
Okay.
The first one I shot this year, right at last night. I think I shot the buck in the ham, and we didn't recover him till the next day. I'm gonna tell you something. You talk about being discouraged. I was discouraged. I even cried. I didn't think it was. I thought we were going to find that deer, but if it wasn't for my dad waking me up saying my buddy McCray at work is going to come and he wants to help you find that deer, we didn't even go near far to where that buck had died the previous night. We just went not even 200 yards, and we tracked that buck. We found him almost 400 yards away.
Yeah.
And but me and my friend McCray were walking in the woods, and I hear something flying. My first thought was a turkey. I look, it was a turkey vulture.
Yeah.
McCray was like, all right, there's a good sign. I was like, I think we're going to find this deer. And so I said, let's just watch them to see where they're going. There was about 20 or 25 of them in a big old pine tree. I was like, oh my God. And then I saw them starting to circle all around. I was like, dude, that if it's something, it's got to be that deer. And it's like right over us. We only walked 20 yards. He said, hey, there he is.
Perfect.
Unfortunately, like I said, the coyotes that got to him, but we got to keep the head, and I should be getting his the ear amount this week.
Oh, good. That's good, man.
Hey, now that was a trophy, because man, that was the first time that ever happened. I never recovered a deer the following day.
Yeah, that's a roller coaster. I mean, it goes from the highs of highs to the lows of lows, and then back to the highs.
Yep, absolutely, man. And then, speaking of getting crazy, I didn't think this year could get any crazier, but it was great though. My cousin Weston shot him a doe on Christmas Eve, and his brother, they both shot a doe each that day. But when my cousin Weston was looking for his, he just prayed and said, "Dear Lord, help me to find this doe." There was no blood trail, believe it or not. He shot it with a 7mm.
Oh wow!
And he was like, huh? He was discouraged. But sure enough, later, yeah, he found the deer. But before that, and like I said, this is at nighttime, using flashlight and everything, he come up on a wild deer and touched it.
Wow.
And that deer kicked him.
Dang.
And I said, Weston, that's what you get for touching a wild deer, buddy.
Well, did it go to sleep? I mean, was it asleep in deep sleep and he walked up on it, I guess?
No, it was just standing there, actually. I mean, it was, it was the, I guess you say it was the fawn of the doe that my cousin had shot. So it was just standing there. And he touched it. The deer kicked him in the leg.
Must have had lights in his eyes, huh?
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. But it was unreal. He said, I got it on video. Not when he touched it, but he was like 10 yards from it. It was just standing there like, what's up? But, I mean, and like I said, and I've gotten so many action as far as deer vocalization goes. I had literally, I had 2 fawns come right underneath me. I could have spit on them.
Really?
And I'm going to tell you what, I had
him sneak the ladder before.
I had the Realtree Edge shirt on, Realtree Edge pants on. I'm like what David said on Whitetails in the Wild, good camo pays off. They did not see me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they looked up, but they just looked right back down. They were licking the ladder, and I'm like, I didn't spray anything on there. I don't know what they were looking at, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then
I always say they look up and see me in that Realtree, and they say, that can't be no human. That's got to be the world's biggest squirrel's nest. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, actually, the day I shot that first buck, I had a big doe come in from the left that said there were already 2 fawns at the corn. A big doe and her fawn came in, and I got to watch this. It was unbelievable. She and the other fawn recognized each other. She chased them off because they were not her babies. I could hear her grunting.
Yeah.
I heard bucks grunting this year. In fact, I had a big doe come. You could hear her panting like a dog. She come busting behind me into brush because she's been chased by a buck.
Oh, wow.
It was unreal. And then that little 6-pointer come out, little 8-pointers at the corn. Sure enough, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. I got the camera. Sure enough, dark all through the back, ears laid back, and he comes, circles down. I thought a fight was going to happen.
Ah.
Shoot. But like I said, the past couple years, for not only me and my family, but for Realtree, we've seen so many bucks killed.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think especially with you killing your bucks back in 2020, I think Monster Bucks 29 probably had the biggest. I'm guessing one of the biggest scores of as far as racks go in just that 1 year by everybody.
Yeah.
Because that was unreal.
I haven't even watched Monster Bucks 29. I gotta watch that. I'm gonna mark that down. I want to go back and look at that.
Oh, dude! Not only you, but Tyler Jordan had an unbelievable year. Remember, he took over for Realtree road trips.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He took that 190-inch class buck in Louisiana, and then the next year kills a 186-inch class in Georgia. That's amazing.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right. Yeah.
Like I said,
got a beautiful place down there.
In Georgia, a lot of people wouldn't expect to see a buck like that, but in Kansas you would. But that's what I'm saying. That's what makes it even more special. Like in Georgia, North Carolina, if you see a buck like that, that's just an extra bonus.
Yeah, they're only like 30 minutes from here, where he killed that deer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's just right down the road.
I'm watching everything. I've been watching the Hunt Club. I'm all about Realtree, man. I'm just living a dream. But then I need.
Living a dream. That's right.
I do need this job though, and like I said, while I'm enjoying being home at the moment, I'm enjoying these moments, and I can do that when I get home and get ready for the night. But man, I tell you, it was unbelievable. And I thought to myself, if there's any year I like to close out where I got to hunt so much, I didn't work hardly, I would want to say, okay, I'm ready for full time now, because with the year I had, I would want to end it right there and just say, okay, I'm ready for full time. I can go hunting still, but you know what I'm saying? Because
you can do both.
Oh yeah, well I know that, but like with the year of 2023, I got to hunt a majority of the days of the season, so I was like, well, I would rather 2023 would be a year I would just say close out by we're not having a full-time job, being able to hunt more. Yeah. Like I said, I can still hunt.
Before the storm.
Right.
The calm before the storm.
That's right, man. It was, oh my gosh. And like I said, I'm excited about this year now because we're already starting off this year with a bang, starting my own little podcast, and we got the scroll tournament happening Saturday, and then next Tuesday I'll be interviewed. So
yeah,
that's
good, man.
Oh yeah, well, I've actually become friends with the guy recently, and he says we're gonna have a good time, and I'm all about it, man. I'm pumped.
That's good, man.
But
that's good. Are you going to his place to film it, or y'all going to do it on Zoom?
I'm going to his place actually.
Okay.
He may do it on Facebook Live. I'm not sure how he's gonna do it. I know by camera, but yeah, I'll be going to his place because it's 30 minutes up the road too, pretty much. So.
Gotcha.
But. Buddy, and like I said, when I come across people like you, Michael and Nick, Michael remembers me because of me having autism. I have to tell him I'm the child with autism. He said, no, he gave me a big old hug last year. He was, and like I said, I know.
Ain't no child no more.
Well, don't tell me about it. I ain't no child no more, man.
That's what I keep telling my son. He's 18 and a half now, and he's he's 6'2", almost 6'3", and 300 and something pounds. I'm like, you ain't no child no more, boy. I ain't take a stick to you now.
Oh man, that's good. But like I said, I'm glad I get to talk to you, buddy. Like I said, we're pretty much friends. So
we are friends.
And so, but I thank the good Lord that, like I said, I would never thought to become friends with like you guys and get to talk to y'all. I'm just blessed. I'm super humbled, and I cannot wait to get this on YouTube and show all my friends. Because I told one of my friends last night, I said, he's one of my hunting mentors, and I said, I get to talk to him. And it confused me at first. I was, I became mutual friends with Michael Pitts from Realtree on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw your profile come up as Carp Man. And I saw your picture, and I was like, I wonder if this is T-Bone. But then again, I wasn't for sure. Because, worst case scenario, I thought you were a scam for a moment.
Yeah, no, it was my public figure page got hacked.
I saw that.
Yeah, so it's still hacked. Actually, we're real close. I mean, real close to getting it back. But it's been a nightmare. It got hacked right around Thanksgiving, and the people that hacked it monetized things, and I have no control over. So everything that's been posted on there since Thanksgiving, I have no control over. And there's 550,000 followers, and I have no control over it. And the only reason I have this other account that that we're friends on is because I have to have that to be an administrator for the public figure page of my other one. So, but yeah, I only have like 200 or 300 friends on there. So
yeah, that's why. And I was wondering too. I knew you'd been hacked on that business page because I noticed you posted the picture of your buck from this year, the first one, on there on your I guess regular profile, but then I saw on your business page all these other videos of just, I guess you say, random stuff, and
yeah, no, it could be a lot worse. I mean, they could be putting a lot other worse stuff on there. So thank goodness they're not doing anything worse.
But like I said, I was seeing it and I noticed. Well, then the bone collector posted a picture of your buck, and I was like, I didn't see any other picture of that buck other than on your page once Bone Collector posted it, and then they said that your business page was being hacked. So I'm like, yeah, that's why. And here's the sad part. I think some people don't know that you've been hacked. And because I would see you post, not you, but the hackers would post random stuff, and I'm like, T-Bone normally don't post a lot of stuff that many days, a lot, two or three things in a day. I was like, he don't do that. So I was like,
yeah.
And I noticed on the video, it's the same description is copied onto when the hackers share it. But yeah, folks, please help T-Bone. Pray that T-Bone gets his business page back.
Yeah, and I think I feel pretty certain. I got a company out of Florida that we hired to do it, so we're making good headway. It's just you can't never get a hold of nobody at Facebook. I mean, you can't talk to nobody. There's nothing to call. So it's been a nightmare, so to speak. But hopefully we'll get it back here for long.
Yeah, I hope so too. I did send you a friend request on your Travis Turner page, by the way. So
okay.
So
okay.
But folks, I think what you just saw right there was amazing. Like I said, my mouth's getting dry. I should have brought her water. I talk too much, so.
Yep, like we said, we'll talk the horn off a billy goat.
Yep. Well, you know what?
We'll do this again. We'll do this again in a couple of months.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I had speech therapy for about 7 years because of my autism. And I'm sure Archer had the same issues, like sensory issues. And
yep.
So because I had 18-month-old vaccinations, and that's what pretty much started all the crap. So, and honestly, the guy that I'm being interviewed by, Aaron, his son has autism. And I think that's one reason he wants to get me in, because I can talk about it. Some people don't like to talk about it.
Right.
I don't know if Archer's that way, but I know what he's going through.
He will. He's, and it's a spectrum. So there's high functioning, and, there's some folks that are nonverbal, and so there's a wide range of folks that have autism and stuff like that. So, I think it's great that you don't mind talking about it. So, we'll definitely, actually, when I lost my leg, Bushnell, Realtree, and Bone Collector, we all got together and shot the monster buck shoot. I guess it's been almost 2 years ago.
That big check. Wow.
Got that big check. Yep, and we made sure that $5,000 went to autism awareness.
Oh.
Yep, we sent $5,000 to autism awareness, $5,000 to Trinity Oaks, which they send a lot of veterans that have been wounded. We call them heroes. We don't like to call them wounded warriors. They're heroes. And then we sent $5,000 to the Sarcoma Cancer Alliance. So we didn't just send it all to one place. We sent it into 3 places that meant a lot to me and my wife and my son.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Because, I mean, like I was saying, with speech therapy, my dad, you're gonna laugh when I say this, but my dad picks with me by saying he had speech therapy for so and so years, and no, let's see how he said. Oh yeah, he's had speech therapy for so and so years, and he ain't shut up since.
Got him wound up, and he won't hush now.
And I meant it. I won't. But
you got a good attitude about it, buddy. That's for sure.
And I'm gonna tell you, I have those moments, and then I look back, and actually, my preacher's preached on these things lately. And we all tend to do this, but people, when things happen, as far as, let's see, no, I'll put it this way. We often get upset, or we often ask God, Lord, what about so-and-so? This hasn't happened to me, about, stuff like that. We often tell God, why haven't I been given so-and-so? Because, some people will be dwelling on that, like, the real line is like some people get concentrated on more things that they haven't been blessed with or haven't happened to them yet. But now we begin to look back and like, wow, God has blessed us with a lot of stuff. And we ought to be ashamed for not looking back on that as much. Like, God has blessed us with some stuff, but then here we are dwelling with the stuff that has not happened to us. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yep. No, absolutely. Look for the positive. Be appreciative of what you got. And like we said earlier, just enjoy the journey. Don't, perception ain't reality to some of the other people, that you think's got it better than you. Enjoy what you got and be thankful for what you got and enjoy the journey.
Oh, absolutely.
God's in control.
Amen. But you know what? I look at it this way. And I'll tell you another thing. I really hate the way our country's in right now with the person in the White House. It just makes me mad, but
hopefully that'll change before long.
I hope so too. But yeah. Donald Trump knows that God's got everything under control. He knows that. We all know that. But I think we look at it this way too. And Donald said it. Donald said it right before the crooked man himself was about to be elected in the White House. And I believe this too is still going to happen. And I can say it too as far as my YouTube channel goes and not giving up on your dreams. The best is yet to come.
Yep, that's right.
We got to look on that positive note.
Tyler, I think we're going to let you go. I'm going to take a drink of this because I know you're wanting to drink so bad.
Yeah, buddy. Hey. Man, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, we've got to end it right there, man. And we got to pray for our country, man.
Sounds good, man. Listen, we'll do this again soon, and I'll get you some more folks on your podcast. Good luck with everything. I really appreciate you, and you stay in touch. I want to see that video, and then me and you'll just keep volleying. We friends now.
Absolutely, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is Travis T-Bone Turner. I appreciate you guys watching with this. I appreciate you sticking with me on this one. T-Bone, I appreciate it, buddy, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like I said, exciting things happening this weekend. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the podcast. We'll see you guys on the next video. God bless. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.